Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week 3 of the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series here at the one and only, the infamous Bathurst circuit. My name is Daniel Hanover, and joining me in the commentary box, as always, is the wonderful and fantastic Mr. Ed May. How are you doing, sir?
Making its way up and down the hills in Bathurst, and well, it needs no introduction, really, does it, Dan?
Do you know what? This is exactly the thing I was saying. As soon as you say Bathurst to people, they know obviously they don't need to know anymore. It's just Bathurst. It's there's something about it. It's something about the circuit that I don't know. It just speaks to people differently. I think there's just there's so much stuff going on. There's so many things to look out for and to keep up with, and it's a never-ending sort of set. You know, it's just something so different about it all, which is like, I absolutely love it. And I'm not the only one, although I've never seen radicals around here. I don't know about yourself, Ed, but I can tell you I've never seen them.
No, I don't think I have either. So we're in for a, well, we're going to see what we're going to be treated to, won't we, Dan? It's going to be very intriguing, that's for sure. I think we're just coming to the start of qualifying, though, so pick someone on board, Dan, and see if we can run through a lap of this circuit on board with someone.
Absolutely. Who is it going to be? Well, at the moment, I think we should go with one of the top contenders in the championship. We have got Simon Edwards that we're running on board with in a few moments' time. There he is, Mr. Simon Edwards, currently on your screen now, coming down the hill as he gone to Rob. Again, this is such a complex section here. You've got to have patience. That's the main thing to keep an eye out through here is patience. It is so very, very key. as they come now down to Forest Elbow, goes a little bit wide, tries to get the car settled. Bear in mind, these tyres are cold as well, so you've got to be careful. You can see how late he is on the throttle, just getting up the pace, picking up the temperature in the tyres. It will take a little bit of time, but he will eventually get there. As they go through again, you can see they're trying to warm the tyres up. I think, to be fair, this is one of these you're going to be seeing a lot of people doing here. It's 3 laps qualifying, bear in mind, as well. So these guys have a little bit of time to get their tyres up to temperature, but the main is going to be the last lap. That's the key one, isn't it?
Yeah, it really will be key to get those tyres in that perfect prime state for that final flying lap. As we said, on board at the moment with Simon Edwards. He makes his way through the final corner, makes to get sure a great exit, maximising all of the curb on the outside, and then into first corner, hell corner. And well, it is a bit hellish sometimes trying to get it to turn in a little bit wide of the apex, but seems to get a good run out. So Simon Edwards, he's got a long run up the hill, and we're going to be seeing plenty of slipstreaming in the actual races, aren't we, Dan? Obviously in this qualifying session, not a factor as they run around in their own little sessions near enough. No other cars on track for them to worry about. It's just them, the track, and the stopwatch.
Exactly, as you say, it's just them. They've got themselves and Bathurst to worry about. To be fair, and that's probably about enough, let alone when you stick all the other cars out on track. There's a lot to go on as he goes through again, going up the hill as well. I'm just seeing a couple of times on this timing standards come up. John Hutchinson, he's on a mega lap as well. He's done 2 purple sectors, 3 purple sectors in fact. I know he's got a bit of time to go, but he is the man setting the pace at this moment in time. Again, we're going to finish on board with this lap with Simon Edwards as he goes through again, now coming down into down as he comes down the hill. This is commitment. This is what you need, but patience at the same time. Like I said, you can tell he's actually driving a little bit harder now because the tyres are a bit more up to temperature, but he is absolutely on it, as we can see. Going back to TV cam, I think as well that until, I mean, I've never been there, I'm sure Ed, you've never been there as well, but you don't understand. I don't think you really gain the elevation change. I think that's the key thing, isn't it? The massive elevation change that you have with these at Bathurst.
Yeah, there's no real circuit like it. The only thing you could probably compare it to might be something a bit like Cadwell Park with the elevation changes there. I'm sure if you've been there,
I have, yes.
You'll know all about it. It's very up and down hill, isn't it? And there's definitely a few characteristics, but it's nothing really in comparison to the changes you see at Bathurst. And the way the cars go up the mountain, snake around at the top, and then plummet back downhill, going through corner after corner, trying to fight gravity, trying to fight the laws of physics as they seek to get the fastest lap possible. And, well, Simon Edwards comes through to have the second fastest lap of this qualifying session. John McHutchinson, actually, well, he's been showing a great turn of pace, you know, and he's carrying that forward with what could be another pole position lap time, 1 minute 57.186. Very good stuff there from John.
Absolutely, a very good lap indeed as well. We've got a couple of people I've seen on purple sectors. We've got Dan Webster here. He's on the purple sector through sector 3, but he's got 2 more to go. Paul Crabb has actually done a purple sector 5, as we can see there. So Paul Crabb has just gone now, as we can see, up into P3. So at the moment he's looking to make some good news on the road. Like I said, P3 at the moment, not necessarily going to be where he's going to stay. I'm sure it's going to be very, very close indeed. Chris Kane's just put in his first lap time. He is currently 3.2 seconds off. But again, some of these guys won't be on their properly fast lap yet because they'll still be getting the tyres up to temperature. Looking as well. John Hutchinson, though, he is a man on a mission. Where does who's I putting it? Dan Webster doesn't actually set a time for that particular lap. Who have we got? I believe we've just had John Hutchinson. Yes, he's gone. So he is still top of the standings as well. But again, Simon Edwards only 3 tenths behind.
Oh, sorry, Mike was sweet, but yep, not a big margin whatsoever, and around, well, nearly a 2-minute lap time. That's near enough nothing. So, John McHutchinson, he's been setting purple sectors all lap long. This could be a very fast time coming out from the Scotsman. He comes across the line, and that's a 1:57.163, now 4 tenths of a second, extended his margin. But, do you know, I think he might be able to just creep into the 56 as well. Simon Edwards certainly has done that. As the words come out of my mouth, he says it's definitely possible with that lap time. Graham Brown, though, he rolls over for him because purple sectors all the way through that, but I think he's just bottled it. The final time of asking, goes ninth fastest.
Indeed, good stuff. Like I said, time is still starting to come in. They're trickling in. Dan Webster, he's just got another purple sector 3. And going through. Again, it's looking quite close as well. One of the things I've actually seen that's really very close is between 6th and, well, like it's between 6th and 11th. You look at the times there as well. There's not too much in it. It's only a fair, a few tenths of a second. The closest that we can see at the moment is between Graham Brown and Christopher Kane, because these guys are only, what's that, 200th of a second apart. So there's nothing in it between the pair here. So there is Graham Brown currently on your screens.
I'll just seeing how they throw it through the corners. It's
commitment.
I'll almost make us believe, isn't it? Yeah, full commitment through the corners. Look at this, over the hill, snaking around, a slight switch there. A bit of oversteer on the car that he's able to correct. And again, sending it into the corner. The rear of the car looks very loose on Graham Brown's compared to some of the other vehicles we see, but they're down through Skyline, so named because obviously that's all you see is the Skyline as you suddenly plummet your way down. Also named, of course, after the Nissan Skylines that dominated the Australian touring car scene back in, I think, the late 80s to sort of the mid 90s period. They were very, very dominant around here, and there's just so much history at this circuit. Forrest Elbow was actually named from an old motorcycle driver that, when he was coming around that corner left-hand side, would actually scrape his elbow away because he was just really leaning it through and almost using that to lean on to carry his way through the corner.
That's pretty insane, isn't it? Really, I think that's actually quite terrifying. It's terrifying enough on in a car. I don't know what it's like on a bike. There we are. So Paul Clark has just set his last lap. So he'll be coming in the pits at the moment. Where is Chris Kane? So he goes across the line. He does improve on that last lap, I believe. Yes, he does. And he goes up into, still stays in P9 at the moment. Got a few more drivers coming across the line. This will be for the last laps now. So it won't be too much before these guys will start coming into the pits. As you can see there, they're all starting to get now to the point where they're just finishing up their laps. Here is Martin Booker, currently sitting in P4. So good stuff here from Martin Booker. Fair play indeed. Just a bit of housekeeping before we do get going as well. Stuart Mathers has said, decided to sit this one out, so he will watch instead. Well, Stuart, thank you very much. Welcome to the broadcast, and I hope you're enjoying yourself and you are enjoying the broadcast that you're seeing. But yeah, I mean, I've never seen a spectacle. I've never seen the... never seen radicals around Bathurst. This is going to be a very, very interesting race, because I don't particularly race radical. I've just looked as well. Look at Martin Booker. He's got a bit of damage on the wings. That will be hurting his times a little bit. And I can see at the moment it's not purple sectors, but he may run with him. Dan Webster's just gone P3 though. So he's just now gone up into P3. Is Martin Booker going to be able to improve? No, he does not. Dan Webster, a last late charge there, and up into P3.
Yeah, very good lap that from Dan Webster to take himself up onto the second row, the front of the second row. But is James Child going to have a reply? Not quite. That's enough for the third row for James, starting 6th place. And then there's a very battered and bruised Jamie Bird making his way around the end of a lap here. And if he's got any incident points, any contacts this lap, obviously iRacing doesn't count it as Ray Peasley is able to set a valid lap time and goes ahead of Martina Ward. But with that, I think that is the end of qualifying now, Dan, and we can hopefully have you run us through the starting order for the race to go.
Absolutely. We've actually got a... I just want to quickly show up the current standings before. So this is actually the standings before we enter into this round. So John Hutchinson leading the way with 80 points. Paul Crabbin with in P2 overall with 63. Darryl Taylor in third with 50 points. Dominic Lang-Webb 49. Martin Booker 47, but joint with Dave Kirkman as well. You can see how close the actual... you can really see how close these standings are when you actually go down through the field. Several people on the same point. It's so close. And this is going to be, again, well, it's really all to play for. I know that there's only, there's obviously still a fair way to go. 9 weeks left or 8 weeks left, but that's going to definitely be coming down, and that's going to be coming down very quickly. So any points always up for grabs are useful. But here we are, your order. John Hutchinson leading the championship, currently pole position as well. Simon Edwards P2 with Dan Webster in P3. Paul Crabb B4, Martin Booker 5th with James Child in 6th. Darryl Taylor 7th, Paul Clark in 8th with Andy Hugill in 9th. Dave Kirkman rounding out your top 10 with Chris Kane in 11th. Dominic Lang-Webb in P12. And as we move a little bit further down the order, we can see We've got Nick Adams in P13, Graham Brown P14 with Tim Adcock 15th, Ray Peasley 16th, Martina Ward in 17th, Phil Glover in 18th, Jamie Bird in 19th, and Stuart Mathers in P20, rounding out your grid. Oh, it's going to be exciting, isn't it just?
Oh, it really will. I can't wait for this to get underway. John McCutcheon from pole position. He's going to have the advantage into the first corner, but, well, coming up the hill into the first corner, Simon Edwards is going to be in with a shout, that's for certain. We're going to go now, hopefully, to the front of the grid as they line up and get ready. The pace car will obviously get this underway here. A little bit of a run. Obviously not a whole lap, thankfully. Otherwise, well, we'd probably be here for quite a while. It's just on the run into this final sector coming off of the Conrod straight and through the cutting. John
Great section there.
It really is, isn't it? What an excellent section. It's going to be amazing in these radicals with all the downforce that they can generate, just how sort of quick and nimble they are. The agility in these cars is really something to behold. If you haven't had a chance to, and you are watching on Absolute Sim Racing after the broadcast, just go around on iRacing for a little bit of a whirl, because you'll find just what amazing cars, little bits of kit these are, and that you really need to have your wits about you to properly pound one around the Bathurst tarmac. But the race gets underway here, and John McCutcheon gets a good run, doesn't he, on Simon Edwards, Dan Webster in the background, going for a move. Oh, but there's a lockup, and is there contact? I think Simon Edwards has been spun around, into the first corner. Calamities there from Simon, after what was a very promising start to the race from him, and a very promising qualifying. Simon is found himself off into the kitty litter into the first corner.
Indeed, not ideal there. We're going to have a look back on that in a few moments, but meanwhile we've got through. It was actually going to be potentially too wide. Who was that down? It was Dominic Lamb-Webb on Chris Kane, I think. What a potential move that was going to be. They're going to go side by side now as they come up the straight. What is it going to be? No, because Dom Webb does indeed take that position. He maintains where he was. But at the moment, John Hutchinson has just disappeared up the road. Obviously, the incident that Simon Edwards had, that's unfortunately, well, it's great for John Hutchinson because he's now sailed away off into the distance. Already a gap of 1.8 seconds is he. So very, very close indeed. Looking a bit further down the field, though, again, there's some very, very close battling going on a little bit further down. Ray Peasley is only just behind Nick Adams, who's only just behind Chris Kane. So, again, it's just getting so, so close already. And I'm sure it's going to be even closer as they go through. But let's watch out. Let's keep an eye out for Simon Edwards because he's really going to be wanting to make as many positions as he can. At this point, moment there, it's a bit of possession, but a big accident there. Who was that? Graham Brown involved. With Phil Glover as well.
13 getting involved in the wall there. The Bathurst bites back on the first time of asking there for number 13, Graham Brown. And, well, walls, they do provide a heavy amount of damage. That could be very, very harmful for his chance to get a good result. Meanwhile, on board with Nick Adams, he's going right onto the right-hand side of the circuit, trying to edge out Ray Peasley as much as he can, coming through the cuts and then down a hill into the left-hander. You might be able to hold it around the outside, and that helps him massively because this long right-hander, if you're able to get the run through there, you can hold the position nicely, as Nick Adams has very wonderfully just demonstrated. I think that as we come to the end of the first lap, we could maybe have a look at the replay of the opening few moments and see what exactly happened between Simon Edwards and Dan Webster.
Indeed, let's have a quick look. So, I mean, Simon Edwards, let's have a quick replay here. So, here we go. Oh, just a bit of a tap.
A lock-up.
Bit of a tap
up as well.
Yeah.
Dan Webster really just making a mess of the first corner, unfortunate to say. And Simon Edwards, I think he's going to be grateful that there wasn't too much damage dealt to his car. This is the incident we saw of Graham Brown. We saw it live, but we're going to get a better view here. Oh, and is that coming through the dipper? Yes, it is.
Indeed. Yep.
Oh, and well, the car seems to have just bottomed out on him, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I said, it's a tricky one, especially when you've got these sort of cars here, like very low to the ground. You've got to be careful. This is Martin Booker having a bit of a moment come through at the exit of at the end of the Conrod Straight. Just goes off. I think he maintains no spin, no. So he carries on as he is. So luckily, no harm, no foul for him there. But yeah, bit of a shame, unfortunately. I've actually seen Simon Edwards is in the pits as well. He actually had to go to the pits. That's dropped him back even further. So that's unfortunate for Simon Edwards. Look at that, 25 seconds. He's only got 13 laps to do it. There's a car off as well that's just stopped into the pit lane. Who on earth is that? I can't quite see. I couldn't quite see who that was, but yeah, not too sure who was that was stranded as they come down the hill. Again, very, very interesting things, interesting sights that we've seen already at the start of this race. One thing I am noticing, though, look at the gap between John Hutchinson and Dan Webster, because that gap is actually starting to come down a little bit. Here we are on board with Dan Webster, the 111 for HPE Automotive. You can see there the gap's come down even further. So for those of you who don't know, the timing tower on the left-hand side, intervals, as we can see currently on your screen, anything that is less in yellow, okay, anything that's in yellow is less than a second away, and anything in amber or orange is less than half a second behind. So I've actually just seen as well, Dominic Lang-Webb has unfortunately had a bit of a coming together, possibly with Dave Kirkman. So let's have a quick replay on that. So yeah, Dave Kirkman seems to be going off on track first. What is it going to be here? Oh, that's interesting. Was that number 8? It was number 8, Dominic Lang-Webb. Unfortunately, yeah, Dominic Lang-Webb just, I think, again, just wasn't able to, I don't know, it's a bit of a react, possibly wasn't able to sort of like check up as soon as he wanted to. It
was just a misjudgment of brakes into the chase, you see there, and, well, that can happen sometimes when you're carrying so much speed down the Conrod straight into fairly heavy braking zone in cars that have no ABS. Mistakes like that can happen, as Ray Peasley, I believe, just got passed by Jamie Bird. Jamie Bird making a mistake, though, coming through the cutting. Could leave a bumble as they make their way up through Griffin's Mount and into Reed Park. Up at the crest of the hill they will come. And then it's basically all downhill from here as they make their way through Solomon Park or McPhillamy Park. Okay, Ray Peasley's looking for any end road in, and the number 39 gets very loose. That coming out of McPhillamy Park into Skyline. He just gets it settled down, but then down through the S's and into the Dipper. Was that a slight hit on the wall? I think he got away with it there, but, well, Jamie Bird is having to really drive it on the ragged edge to keep it in front of Ray Peasley. Ray's going to be getting frustrated with all this is happening, seeing the mistakes from the driver in front, but not being able to capitalise on them.
It's a big shame, isn't it? Chris Kane had a bit of a moment here in the wall. That was a hefty hit as well, so hopefully he's not going to be too happy with that. He did lose a position.
Hits the wall once on the left-hand side and again on the right-hand side, and this is his battered and bruised car just ahead of Jamie Bird. James is going to look for a move down the inside into the chase, and I think he's going to get it to stick just
Chris
about.
will come into the pits. He's going to have to come into the pits. The car's too damaged, I think. And there he goes, yeah.
Wheels off into pits. I think the drivers do have a fast repair in their arsenal, but you don't really need to be taking any pit stops in these 13-lap races, so a bit of damage done to his race. It has to be said, as Nick Adams gets through on James Child. James doing all right for himself, only down 3 places from the start, though, so we'll be hoping for a bit of a change in his fortunes. Jamie Bird, though, we were watching him earlier, weren't we? And he's having a great time of things, up 9 places into 10th.
Absolutely, he's doing very well for himself. I think he's definitely going to be, he's not going to be complaining, is he? He's definitely enjoying himself, and he's having a very, very good race indeed. He's actually 3 tenths behind Nick Adams at the moment, so we're going to see, at the moment, the pace he's got, he is really knocking on the door. He won't be too far before he's knocking on the door on the back of Nick Adams. Looking from a gearbox cam as well, we can see again that gap is slow. Well, I say slowly coming down, it's very quickly coming down. So again, we'll have to see. It's not going to be too long.
Sorry, I was noticed as well, the gap is coming down, I think, between the top 2, between John McHutchison and Dan Webster. As Dan on the last lap has set the fastest time of the session, of this race session so far. He will be closing down all the way along the Conrod Straight. Closing in with the slipstream as they make their way through into the chase. And what gains can Dan Webster make through this final sector to really start to pile the pressure on the Scotsman in front? The Scotsman that's looked so strong all season long. I believe winning the first and then the second race of the season. To come here on to the third round, it could be good for a hat-trick, you know.
This is very true, as we've got, who was that? James Child trying to make a move. That was a very, very late move. Too wide going through. That's going too wide through the chase. The best of times, and we've got, who was that? That was Nick Adams. He's gone off. Pressured, unfortunately, I think, by the looks of it, from James Child. And again, just Nick Adams, possibly a potential lock-up there. So we're going to have a quick look at that, see if we can get an instant replay of that, which we might be able to do. Let's have a quick look of it here. Yeah, so again, just last of the late breakers, yeah. And unfortunately, Nick Adams, while he did break later, unfortunately, it has cost him a position. Good racing there from.
It doesn't just cost him 1, it costs him 2, I think. As Jamie Bird, and actually 3 as Ray Peasley got through as well in all of that. You can see his car in the background in a bit of a scrap. James Child up into 8th place. A little bit of damage you can see on that right-hand front side. Doesn't seem to be hampering him too much, though, showing good pace so far. As on the last time by, Dan Webster actually has gotten ahead of John McHutchinson, so there has been a change for the lead here, Dan. Where did that all kick off as we see Dominic Young-Webb in a scrap with, I believe that's been Dave Kirkman just in front, but drama up at the front of the field. So this was it, John McHutchinson. He just makes a mistake going through Hell Corner, gets the snap on very well though, getting on the anchors to keep the car pointing in the right direction. You see locking up the car, keeps the momentum going, then unlocks and gets the power back on. Very sketchy, it looked out of control, but that was the only way to really save it from properly swapping ends on him and sending him into the wall.
Yeah, I think absolutely. It's one of those things, isn't it, where we've got, I mean, as you say, very, very well composed, very well controlled as well there by John Hutchinson. Like I said, very experienced with these cars as well. So knows exactly what to do if something like that happens. Bit of a lock up there from Dave Kirkman. That's going to cost him a little bit of time on going down at the exit of Forest Elbow. But yeah, I mean, the gap now, 1.8 seconds between Dan Webster and Hutchinson. So we're going to have to see how that goes through. Bear in mind, we're nearly halfway through the race already. It's coming a lot. It's coming through thick and fast. So it's going to be nice and quick here. So John Hutchinson, he's pulled out what you can see about a tenth and a half already. We'll have to see if that lap time comes down. But I tell you what, though, if there was going to be a race before with Webster catching up with Hutchinson, I think there's going to be the tables have turned and we're still going to have a very, very exciting race.
Yeah, definitely. So, is this going to be the first time a driver is able to take away John Hutchinson's ironclad grip on the top step of the podium? Who knows? We did see John McHutchinson falter a little bit on the pre-championship round at Daytona. Got it on pole position, but then faltered a touch in the race. And well, from that point on, he's composed himself and gotten a good turn of pace. And actually, the gap, while it did increase on the last half, has closed back down again by half a second. So John McHutchinson really starting to burn the candle at both ends, shall we say, and just go for broke to try and take back the race. But this is a great little fight we're seeing on board with Dominic Young-Webb. You're going to also see on board with him just how difficult it is to follow a car going up through the mountain here, because you lose that area, you lose that downforce performance, and the car, well, downforce is one thing you want to be able to keep every little sort of inch of coming through here, because if you get off a car that's loose, then, well, the walls do get closer and closer very quickly.
Absolutely, you are very correct. I've just had a quick look, though, as well. Looking on the tab, we've had Darrell Taylor's had an incident, as well as Chris Kane. So let's have a quick look at that. Instant replay here. What on earth happened? I wonder if Darrell Taylor possibly got in. Could be a tap of wall, the back end, that he back end gets a bit loose coming into the braking zone. I think it is, yeah.
Oversteers.
God, yeah, just oversteers. But I mean, doesn't actually, there's no incident with Chris Kane, so he seemed to be carrying on as well. But here is the incident with Chris Kane. So let's have a quick look at it going through. I think Chris's car looking a bit worse for wear, and he goes onto the grass. That has put probably a little bit of tarmac on. I wonder, he's just pulled off. Potentially it could be a hardware. Could be a hardware issue, because even with the fast repair.
Yeah, I think he's calling it with the damage, because I think he got it repaired and then had another bout of damage. Was just trying to see how the car was, but for me, I think that was not looking like it was driving straight. And in that situation, you've got to not only think about your own enjoyment you get out of the evening, but then also about all the other cars on circuit. Is it really fair for you to drive about in a car that's not the most controllable thing when there's other vehicles on track that you might then have another incident with? So I think it's the right thing to do, even if it's a bit of pill for Christopher Kane to swallow. I think he's going to look back on that and think, you know what, that was probably the right thing to do in that situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like I said, a very, very big shame to see Chris that's had to retire, unfortunately. But as you say, you know, in terms of the overall, looking at the bigger picture, could Roa be the correct move? Like I say, he doesn't want to be a potential hazard to anyone else, because at the end of the day, I'm not saying that obviously you look at a car, if the car's got damage, if there's any track that it's difficult to drive on, Bathurst is the one. So again, I think so Chris Kane looking at the bigger picture there, so fair play indeed. Jamie Bird, though, again having a stellar race at the moment, sitting in P9. He's just sitting doing what he needs to do. Bit of a he's on his own at the moment. Oh, what a save!
Commentator.
I do apologise, Mr. Jamie Bird. That was I will take fault of that one, but Yeah, I mean, what a save. Again, locked the brakes up, kept the momentum going, released at the right time, let the car go. Very, very good stuff.
Yeah, we've already seen a few moments from our race leader, John McCutchinson, and it seems that now that Jay Burst decided to have a little bit of a moment himself.
Oh, Tim Adcock's
Every
had a
time we
moment.
come to a car, there's a bit of a moment. And we've just
Tim
seen
Adcock.
a moment here. Or this was coming through after the dipper on his way into Forrest's elbow. Oh, I think there's a rear brake snag there. Snags the rear brakes, locking it up, oversteering, rear end into the tyre barriers, and that's, well, a hefty amount of damage. Rear wing bent out of shape, no downforce really coming from there, so that could be a trip to the pit lane to get that fixed up really quickly and then back out on circuit. Obviously not the longest pit lane in the world at Bathurst. The amount you'd lose is a little bit less than what you'd expect at other circuits, but still, you don't want to ever try and take a trip to the pits based on damage. You want to have a nice clean race. Doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with racing at Bathurst, though, does it? Clean races.
No, I think this is it's a good point to say. Like, you've always got to be, when it comes to driving and when it comes to actually Bathurst in terms of just the general driving perspective or racing perspective, you've got to take it, as you say, you've got to almost like drive it within that 10-12% of your 10-12% of sort of like what you think is your fastest pace. Because at the end of the day, through somewhere like here, through somewhere like Bathurst, especially going down, we see Darrell Taylor now on your screen going down down the hill, composure and control is faster than out and outright pace. It's always the way through there. It's always the way. I've actually just had Stuart Mathers on the stream as well saying some are actually running with zero wing and no dive planes. Now, these cars can be a bit of a handful at the best of times, let alone when you've got no rear wing and no dive planes. Like, that's a significant amount of error that's been reduced. So credit to these guys as well for doing as they're doing.
Well, obviously you can see the thinking. They're trying to maximise the gains on the mountain straight at the start of the lap, and then obviously throwing down the Conrod straight at the end. Obviously it is quite a power dominated circuit, even with the sort of uphill run. I don't know though, for me I'd always want to have maybe an extra little bit of quicker wing than maybe I think I need, just to make sure that the car is stable enough to go through till the end. It's all about survival this Bathurst round. I think a lot of the drivers were probably coming into this, hopefully, with that mindset of just getting through this with the main aim of surviving, because you'll expect maybe some of your rivals to have a few mistakes, pick up a little bit of damage here and there, and oftentimes we see the cleanest drivers coming through. Oh, maybe not though. If Dave Kirkman's going to come through with racing like that, he might not find himself finishing. Very scary moment that, coming out of Murray's corner. Held it nicely, kept it out of the wall. It gets very close on the exit of that corner. Scary, scary stuff though if you're a driver at this track, and if you're in a Dave Kirkman's car and all, that's definitely a lot of damage on Tim Adcock's car. And I think, are we going to see Tim opting to take that into the pits and maybe calling it a day?
He may very well do. Yeah, it's a big shame, unfortunately, if he's got to do that. But again, like something like that, it's borderline, like I said, borderline undrivable at the best of times. There we go. Just as you can see the bottom of your screen, Tim Adcock.
Oh, Nick Adams, I think, has just had a moment. I've just seen him plummet down through the field. I think he was up just ahead of Liang Webb, and all of a sudden he's down to 13th place here.
Interesting stuff. Let's see if we can have a quick look of Nick Adams. Well, we've got.
He spun it. That was going up into the cutting, and then who was that coming through? That was the 88 of Dave Kirkman that we just obviously switched away from moments ago. This was it. This was his view coming into that corner. Now we're going to see exactly where it comes through. It comes into the corner. Yellow flags. Yellow flags. Where is the car? Oh, there it is. Just blindsided. There's no real way you can go. And the spotter, he's going to say that on your left, on your right, but he's right in the middle of the circuit there, on basically where you're on the power. That's where your car's going to go. So yeah,
it's a shame. It's a big bit. I've been caught out there myself before. It's not a nice feeling. It's really not a nice feeling. So I feel there for Dave Kirkman.
Excited as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You can't see a thing when you're going up through the cutting like that, and there's a car right on the exit. A thing that, well, Dan Webster can see is John McCutchinson filling his rear view mirror, less than half a second separating first from second now, as we're on the 10th lap of 13 here at Mount panorama. This third round is going to have some spice to it yet. Coming up the hill they go then. Dan Webster extending his margin. Doesn't have, of course, any dirty air to contend with. Then the slipstream slowly but surely works in John McCutcheonson's favour. Flat out near enough throughout this sector. Then down the hill, down through Skyline. What a lovely shot that is. The cars making their way through right on the ragged edge, down through the dipper. And then, oh, look at that. They get really close to Dan Webster. You can see how much he's trying to get the pace out of the car. Every last amount of speed he can take through helps him to build that margin. Then all of a sudden, all of that hard work gets undone when they come onto the straights here.
Indeed, yeah. We've actually got Simon Evans making up 2 positions. So one of them was on... so that was the first one, I believe. This was on Nick Adams. And then he makes a similar move on Dave Kirkman. So this is the latter half of the lap. Yes, just coming through down of Hell Corner. I think obviously the guys, both Dave Kirkman and Nick Adams, they both got damage. So it doesn't help the situation. You can see Dave Kirkman there just trying to dive into the slipstream as quickly as he can. Naturally, as you would want to. But again, going through onto the main battle. We've got 3 battles here coming through into these last stages of the race. Look at that, 2 laps to go. So not that many. And I wonder, it's going to be close. This is going to be a very, very exciting battle. Remember, you've got half a second here. A little bit of traffic up ahead, but half a second between Dan Webster.
I've just noticed something. I don't think that was there before. A little bit of damage on John McCutcheonson's car. Look at that on the right-hand side on the rear wing. That's, well, definite little knock there. And also a knock to the front of the car. Actually, you can see the front splitter on that right-hand side has taken a bit of a knock. So John McCutcheonson running with a bit of a wounded Radical.
Interesting stuff. Not ideal, is it really? That's absolutely. You can see it definitely there now as we've zoomed into the camera a little bit. Yeah, bit of damage. It's not phasing him though, is it? Because he's pulled another couple of tenths of a second on John McCutcheonson.
There.
So he is
really close.
He's really close. But as you say, Ed, this is going to be a position where he's going to lose a bit of time as well. So he's going to lose all of that. You can see the gap is really starting to open up. But again, he is committed as anything. Like I said, we've got 3 battles on the go at the moment. We've got this is a battle between, so you can see we've got Webster and Hutchinson, we've got Clark and that is Hugh Gill, and then I believe we've got Don Lang-Webb and Nick Adams as well, all battling between other drivers. So we're going to try and see if we can dive to them. But we've got a bit of a breathing room. I think the one to really look out for is Dom Webb, and just in front of him, very easily, because this is a battle after the last, got 2 more laps to go. Oh, it's going to have some commitment here on these moves. I think that's the biggest thing. Commitment is key.
Yep. Lang-Webb closing in on the car. Closing on very easily up in front. I'm having a look at both the tyre screens, both on the left-hand side, just to see Dan Webster and John McCutcheonson. There's 2 fights really close here. Both these cars with similar amounts of damage. The left-hand side of their rear wings, both sort of pitched upwards in the air. Shows they've had similar knocks and bangs throughout this this race this evening, but getting through nice and cleanly is all John McCutcheonson. He's dropped back massively. That gap has really opened up to over a second now. I think that was just coming out of Murray's. John McCutcheonson, maybe with the lack of downforce, maybe with dirty air, with a mistake.
Unfortunate, yeah, so that has dropped. I mean, a second, 2 laps to go. And I don't know.
You can definitely close in that amount of time, but his passing is so difficult with when you've got that lack of downforce.
Exactly. That's the thing as well. You've got to look at it. Is the passing is the more difficult thing. You can catch up to someone, but for half a lap here, you've got to just sit behind people. You can't actually really make a move unless you're very, very brave. And it tends to not work out when you go through the mountain if you try and make a move. So, again, these guys just got to be so careful. Unfortunately, look at that. Again, the gap, it did go down in under a second. It's now dropped back a little bit. It's actually dropped up a little bit further, 1.1 second now. So I wonder if John Hutchinson did pick up any more damage, if this is now hurting him a little bit more. Going onto the blimp cam. Great shot here again. You can see the commitment that these guys are going through as they drop down the hill. Dan Webster still currently your leader as they go through. I just absolutely love this circuit. It's such a good track, but yet he's still extending his gap. So this could be, I'm not going to say anything, but let's wait until they come across the line in just over a lap's time for the finish.
Yeah, he's very close everywhere we look. I was going to say, let's focus on this little battle as Paul Clark closes in on Andy Hugill. Down they go though through the hill, so Paul can't make the move just yet. Through the S's, then into wide. The dipper. Bit wide, yeah, from Paul Clark, but there's a car blink in front, and Andy Hugill, his internet might be a little bit of a contributing factor to this fight. Oh, coming out though of the corner. Oh, that's a slowdown for Hugill. Hugill picked up a slowdown. I think that was coming through the S's. Just take a little bit too much over the curb, perhaps. Cut the corner. iRacing handed him the penalty, and all of a sudden, Paul Clark finds himself with no one to slipstream off of. Could this play into the hands of James Child? Yeah. As I say that, James is actually dropping back in the slipstream, which tells me either the damage is, well, a little bit stronger on James's car, or the fact that James Child is backing off to have a go on this, well, the final lap, or he's just running a bit more wing and can't actually maintain the same speed that Paul Clark's going on. There's only really one way that we can know what's going on, and that is probably to watch this through the final lap.
Yeah, I think that's the same, isn't it? Because, again, talking about the dive planes and what these guys are actually trying to run, it could very well be that. This may be the actual thing as to why we're seeing James Child dropping back a little bit, because he's running higher dive planes. He is catching up, though. Look at that. You can see this battle. He is starting to catch up.
Oh, he's sort of keeping honest, actually, if anything. You can see the time on the left. It's extending, so he's running a higher setting. That means if there's any chance for him to get this move done, it's right here. The downforce really works for him and closes in through the corner. So James Child running a different setup to his rival up ahead. Look at how close he's able to get, coming through the cutting right underneath the rear diffuser, smelling the exhaust fumes. But driver that's not had to smell many exhaust fumes for the race has been that man in front, Dan Webster. He's only got about, well, a third of the lap to go before we see him take his first race victory of the season. Meanwhile, battle's hotting up here with Nick Adams and Dave Kirkman. It's all kicking off here on the final lap of racing.
It is, absolutely. We are going to have to turn our attention, though, to, because I have seen the gap has actually dropped down to under half a second. I know it's probably not going to be all that much, but Jobber Hutchinson has found 0.6 of a second in the last couple of laps, although Dan Webster's got 2 more corners to go, and then he's going to be taking the victory. What is it going to be? 1 more corner left to go. The gap is just over half a second. He's got 1 more corner left. Hit the braking mark, get the car stopped, pitch the car in. Nice and smooth on the bottom. Look at that. Dan Webster taking the race victory with John Hutchinson in P2. What a stellar drive from Webster and Hutchinson. Shame about his little incident that he did have, but a good recovery nevertheless. Managed to keep it all in check. But Webster taking victory. Really good stuff.
Very good indeed, yeah. As we see, Paul Crabb didn't actually see much of him all race long, but he comes through for third place. Probably best, though, for Paul Crabb to not see much of him, because that means that he had a nice incident-free race and kept himself out of trouble. And that was, like we said, what secures him.
Andy Hugill's gone off.
Oh, yeah, and you're right to mention that. Hugill has gone off there. Big moment in that fight.
The next biggest fight
this at the end, side by side, as they make their way down the Conrod straight. Oh my word, don't touch, lads, keep it clean. I think they just about do so. The 88 car, does he get a good run coming out of the chase? No, he doesn't. Just Murray's corner to go. And Nick Adams is going to be able to take 12th place right in the dying moments of this race. Great little overtake that by Nick Adams. Kept his cool, nice and determined of how he wanted that position to come his way. And, well, it's good to see that they can also have a nice, clean fight. Andy Hugill, very slow, that dropping back. Is that a matter of running out of fuel, perhaps?
I was thinking that. That's what I was thinking. I wonder if he ran out of fuel. That could very well be. He is pulling off the circuit. I don't know, but it could very well be. He's stopping there. I mean, if it is, such a shame on the very, very last lap. Not what you want at all. Phil Glover, Martina Ward just coming through. So Martina Ward, a few more corners left to go, and then that will be us all done for the grid. And we'll be able to run through the official results, and then hopefully we'll be able to have a chat with people as well, which will be exciting.
I do love that livery though on the Martina Ward car. Hopefully it'll be cleaner next time we see it. A bit battered and bruised, you have to say, but a bit of spec map usage. Matte black.
I do like a matte
glossy
car.
Purple.
Yeah,
we do like our spec maps, don't we, on ASR? But as Martina Ward crosses the line, that gives us the end of this third race of the season. And well, Dan, will you do us the honours of running through the finishing order?
Absolutely, as they come up in but a few moments' time. So we're going to hopefully be able to chat with a few people as well, because you always like having a chat with the drivers. We always like having a chat because it's always good fun to see. I think it's to be especially like how the drivers felt, just waiting a few more moments for a few more people to get all up and sorted, and then we'll be able to get the results up for you. I mean, to be fair, as Radicals go, Ed, while we're waiting for the results to come up, Radicals go, I enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Radicals ran Bathurst gets my approval.
Yeah, definitely. So I can't wait to see what the future hold, where they go to next. That's going to be a cracker. As well, the cars they're going now to do, well, the famous jump going all the way up down the Conrod Straight and, well, trying to clear the time areas. I think keyword being trying, as several of them, well, clatter into the tyres.
Yes, unfortunately, a few of them weren't able to do that. We've actually got to wait, unfortunately, for everyone to jump into the bits before we get the results up to you. Although I think that's actually just happened. So we may be able to get the results to you in but a few moments' time. So as they come up, yeah, just again, apologies for the slight delay on getting the results up to you. But I think in the meantime, have we got anyone, Ed, as well? Have we got anyone into the commentary booth for a chat at the moment?
I can see we've got our race victor that we could have a chat to, of course, and our podium sitter, Paul Crabb. But Dan, who do you want to chat to first?
Well, I think, to be fair, there's a few people that I think, tell you what, let's have a chat with our race winner. Let's have a chat with our race winner. I think we should, shouldn't we?
Yep, absolutely. So Dan Webster joins us in the commentary box. Dan, congratulations on that, taking your first race victory of the season. That's got to sound good to you.
Yeah, very pleased with that. That was a great race. Really enjoyed that.
You had a good little scrap, didn't you, with John McHutchinson, basically all race long. And, well, as soon as the opportunity came to you, you seized it with both hands. A mistake from John at the first corner. And then what was it for you afterwards? Was it just about keeping it nice and careful up in front? Or were you just really trying to build a margin?
Well, I was going as quick as I could. I don't think I was going to pull away from John. I gambled on a long gear ratio for the race, which was great when I was behind somebody, but not so good out in front. So it cost me about a tenth down the long back straight. So it was difficult to stay in front of John. And then I made a little mistake as well and gave him half a second back. So it was very close.
Yeah, very close. But we can see your car absolutely clean of damage. I don't think you had any contacts with the walls, whereas John McCutcheon's in the background picked up a little bit of a ding and a bang. And did you put a lot of practice into this circuit beforehand? Because you seem to really know your way around this track.
Yeah, I've done a bit of practice this week, which made all the difference.
Yeah, we can see you got very close to the walls at times, but kept it nice and clean. And, well, looking forward to the rest of the season. Surely this win could have you in good stead for future rounds.
Hopefully, but it's bloody hard work to catch John and Simon and Paul, to be fair. They're all super quick, so yeah, very pleased with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we can touch, if we may, what happened at the start of the race? Obviously, we saw yourself and Simon Edwards, I think, come into blows at the start. I just want to get your reading on it.
Yeah, so I think I was almost alongside him, or possibly just a tiny bit alongside him, and I think we both hit the brakes at the same time. I was absolutely 100% braking effort, and I'd have to look at the replay, but I think he drifted in my direction a little bit, so I clipped him and took him out, but it was very much not intentional.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main thing, of course. So we know that what you're like and what is like, you'll obviously chat it out and sort it all between yourself. And the main thing to know is that there's any bad blood, because we want to keep this a nice, friendly, but also competitive environment, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the guys in this series are excellent, really clean, really friendly. So yeah, it's great. It's really good.
Definitely. The amount of times we've heard drivers talk about the community and how they've been helping each other with setups, so we've heard it to no end, which is always great to hear. But thank you very much, Dan. Before we say goodbye to you following your first race victory of the season, is there anybody you'd like to shout out here on Absolute Sim Racing?
Spirit of Popmaster, I'll just say hello to everyone that knows me.
Thank you very much, Dan. And again, congratulations on your race victory.
Cheers, thank you.
So, Dan, that was Dan in the Guns Box taking his first race victory. Good little race from him, getting ahead of John McHutchinson. Finally, someone other than John has won a race.
I think, to be fair, well, depending on which side of the fence you're on, obviously that's not going to be good for John Hutchinson, but at the same time, going to be very good for Dan Webster. And I think, to be fair, what we'll do, we will bring in John Hutchinson, because I think it's only fair we bring in the number 2 for this particular race. But yeah, I mean, very, very good stuff, and we're just going to be bringing him in but a few moments' time. Actually, before we do that, I'll just quickly run through the order. We do have the order up now, so we will be just going through that. So, here we go. This is your top finishing results. So, Dan Webster takes the win, half a second in front of John Hutchinson. Paul Crabb in P3 with Martin Booker in P4. Darryl Taylor rounding out your top 5 with Paul Clark in P6. James Child in 7th with Jamie Bird in 8th. Dom Webb in P9 with Simon Edwards in P10. Ray Peasley P11. Nick Adams P12 with Dave Kirkman in P13. Martina Ward in P40 with Andy Hugill in 15th. We've got Tim Adcock in 16th, Phil Glover in 17th, and then we have Graham Brown in 18th, unfortunately finishing 7 laps down. So a bit of a shame there, but I'm sure we're going to see that a little bit later on as well. Chris Kane in 19th overall, 8 laps down, and then Stuart Mathers in 20th, 13 laps down. So hopefully we will see everyone back on the grid and finishing the next race. But if we do that, let us bring in John Hutchinson, because I really am intrigued to see from his perspective what Bathurst was like here. John, can you hear us?
Yes, Daniel. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you? Congratulations on P2. I'm sure while it isn't necessarily the result I imagine you would have wanted, still a very good result nevertheless.
No, I'm happy with that. It's always a good race round here, and Dan's a good driver, so no complaints.
Good stuff. No, it was a very, very good battle. I said chopping and changing between you guys very much, and it was a fantastic to watch. What from the position in terms of yourself, like moving forward into preparation for this race, what was it for you? Was it more of a sort of bring everything up into the stage of, what was your preparation? Because Bathurst is such a unique track, especially with these cars. How did you go about preparing for it?
I went go-karting an hour before the race. So
I mean, that's what we did, I suppose.
That's what I was doing.
It wasn't go-karting and Radical, was it, at the same time?
No. So the steering felt very light on my race sim. So,
well, I mean, to be fair, maybe that's... I mean, to be fair, did you put in... I'm guessing, obviously, you put in practice beforehand as well?
Yeah, I done a couple hours yesterday just to try and get... Because it's an open setup, so you have to do it. The guys up front are always doing it, and it's Simon, Paul and Dan. So you have to match them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, like when you're looking through sort of moving forward, I suppose, with moving forward in terms of the preparation for these sort of races. I mean, again, like Bathurst is so unique. I mean, I've never seen this racing. I've never seen radicals around here. I mean, I'm glad I have, because I absolutely love this combination. It's fantastic. And the racing proved that as well. I mean, going through into next race, a bit more of a normal sort of circuit next time. What's preparation? It's going to be a bit more normalised, I suppose, in a way, or is it going to be relatively the same? Just sort of throw in a few hours, get everything set up, and then off you go.
I've never raced this car at Sonoma. I've raced it in the Pro Mazdas a couple of years ago, but never in this car, so it'll be a learning curve for me. And it's not the easiest circuit in the world to learn, so there'll be a few hours on that, I think.
Gotcha. No worries at all. Okie dokie. Well, John, I won't keep you for any more of your evening, but before we do go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
No, just shout out to you guys for doing the podcast. You're getting good feedback from everyone in the series, so well done, you guys.
Good stuff. No problem at all. Thank you very much. We appreciate the support. Really, really good stuff. John, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. Well done on P2, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
No problem. Thanks.
Take care. There we go. John Hutchinson, P2 for this particular race here, week number 3 at Bathurst. And we have one more person. I believe we've got time for one more, haven't we, Ed?
Yeah, we do. Let's bring in, shall we, 3rd place finisher, Paul Crabb. Paul, welcome to the comms box. We didn't see too much of you that race, but I'm guessing that's the way you like it, coming through for a good podium finish following, well, a race where we saw many other drivers lose their cool, but you kept it nice and collected, didn't you, mate?
I did, apart from the start, where trying to start in 3rd gear behind the pace car is not recommended. so I just went backwards through 2 or 3 cars, and that was me stuffed for the race.
Well, you thought it was stuff for the race, but you came through, didn't you, in the end, and carried on?
Oh, yeah, it came through, but I no way could I get in touch with John and Dan. And I was pushing really hard, and I thought I might. When I saw John suddenly come towards me by a couple of seconds, I thought, so he got damage, but he didn't. So it was a pretty lovely race.
Not enough to really slow him down that much. He is a very quick pedaler, but yourself, you aren't too slow. We've seen you in other rounds. It just seems that at Bathurst, you've lost that pace a little bit. Is it just something in the car? Maybe you didn't quite nail the setup down, or is it just the track that doesn't favour how you like to drive?
No, I love Bathurst. I'm just not quite quick enough. It's quite simple. I mean, I could put in, I can lap in the sort of mid 57s, but I'm pretty much 3 tenths away from where I need to be. And I've practiced plenty, but I can't find it. So I just have to throw in the towel and admit I'm not quite quick enough around here. So
it's always tricky, isn't it, to try and come to grips with this circuit more so than others. But we do come to, I believe it was mentioned, Sonoma in a week's time, if I'm correct with my thinking there.
Yep.
And is that a track that you're confident at? You've done much practice at?
I've driven Sonoma quite a bit, but it depends which track they're going to use. But either way, I quite like Sonoma. I love tracks with elevation changes. They're just they're much more engaging to drive on. That's why I love this track. But yeah, I'll be practicing for Sonoma. Hopefully you'll do a bit better. But the problem is, John and Dan and Simon, they're tough guys to beat.
They are definitely, but we know that if you're on your day and if you're on song, you can definitely be up there in the fight, and we'll hope to see you there in a week's time for really tussling up there for the top spot, mate.
Yeah. So,
but before we bid you goodbye, mate, is there anybody you'd like to give a quick word to on ASR?
Well, I'd like to say thank you to Dan for lending me his setup. So that was quite handy for the track. So that's definitely. Because I'm not much good at setups. I just drop the wing back and drive it. The rest of it is a bit of a mystery to me.
Same as me. Same as me. I have no idea what I'm doing sometimes when I get in the car. I know what TC does. I know what ABS does. I can do a little bit with wing angles, but other than that, no clue. So you're in good company, mate.
Yeah. So.
But no problem. Take care. Congratulations on your podium finish, and we'll see you in a week's time, mate.
Okay, guys. Thanks for that.
No problem, bud. Take care.
Cheers, bye.
So, Dan, that was Paul Crabb joining us in the comments box following his podium finish. And, well, I believe that is all the time we have from us here at Bathurst. But we can look forward to yet more entertaining radical racing in a week's time when we go to Sonoma Raceway. But some people, myself included, know it a little bit better as what it used to be back on the old Gran Turismo games, Infineon Raceway.
Infineon Raceway, that's a throwback and a half, isn't it? I think that was even, do you know what, I think to be fair, that was actually, because I have to admit, I wasn't a Gran Turismo player. I was Gran Turismo 4 and then moved on to the Forza franchise after that. I'm pretty sure Infineon Raceway was also in like Forza Motorsport 3, but that is a fantastic circuit. Absolutely love Sonoma Raceway. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Again, a track that unfortunately isn't used as much, but at the same time, going to be exciting to go back to it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're looking forward to it, Ed, and I'm definitely am as well. So bring it on, I say.
Absolutely, yeah, bring it on. I will say that I do have some unfortunate memories of this circuit that we'll be able to delve into at a later date. So you got that to look forward to in my calamitous races at Sonoma. But until then, it's goodbye from me. And Dan, I'll let you have finishing thoughts here.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ed. It's a pleasure as always. Yeah, again, big thank you to everyone as always for tuning in on the stream. It's absolutely fantastic to have you with us. Again, big thank you as well to the UK&I Ireland Radical Race Series for having Absolute Sim Racing as the broadcasting provider. And again, it's absolutely a fantastic series. I'm really looking forward to the remainder of the season, especially looking forward to next week, which is, as we said, a bit of a throwback. But we have to round it off. If you haven't already, please make sure you do consider subscribing to Absolute Sim Racing to keep up to date on all that goes on with this series and others. And as well, if you could leave this stream a little bit of a like as well, it would be greatly appreciated. It really, really does help us more than you know. But until next week, everyone, as always, make sure, take care and stay safe.